What? That can't be right. There is not a city in Georgia called Atlanta. Or is that a U.S. state? Is that supposed to be a U.S. state? So who got all the tallest stuff? Don't you worry, I'm using my headphones. This is tall statues in the world. This video's got 56 million views, and I think you can guess why. There's only one country that has the power to get 56 million views here on YouTube. So you should know by that who has the longest or biggest statue. I'm going to back this video up because I missed already so many of the statues. This is the average human height. Wow, I'm not average human height. That's kind of crazy and sad and cringe. Statue of David in Italy, a masterpiece that was created between 1501. It took this man 3 years to make this. I mean, it's a beautiful statue, and yet it is sculpted from a single block of marble. He looks like he's missing the family jewels, weirdly, in this creation. But then we have Martin Luther King statue in Washington, D.C. I've been to D.C. I don't remember seeing this. I was in the 8th grade, though, so I was a little dumb. And I think I was busy playing Pokemon, so I don't think I was really looking up from my Game Boy that often. The Sphinx in Giza. It's 20 meters up high. It's almost a little bit more than twice Martin Luther King statue. The Tiantan Buddha, 34... Oh, I did see this in Hong Kong. 34 meters. In India, Shiva's 34 meters. Another one in India. My goodness. How many is India just going to own this list? Now, Cristo Redeemer, or the Cristo Redentor, is a misleading one. You might be like, what? It's only 38 meters? That's because it's on a giant mountain overlooking an entire city. They didn't need to make this statue all that big because of the placement. It was, yeah, it just looks like it's going to be pretty huge. So in Malaysia, 39 meters. For reference, well, you'll get a good reference. The Americans are going to get a good reference soon enough. Cristo de Concordia in Bolivia, 40 meters. Did they do this just to one-up Brazil? That's actually crazy. It's basically the exact same, but it's 2 meters taller. It feels like Bolivia did that just to be like, F you, Brazil. Ataturk mask, 42 meters in Izmir, Turkey. We're starting to get a little bit taller now. This is in Vietnam, Tong Lam Lo Sun. Another Buddha. Confucius, they're all religious symbols. Actually, not always. They are political figures as well. Ataturk, Martin Luther King. Well, the statue of David was David somebody? Actually, I need to look that up. Hong Kong. I didn't see that one. But I like I like his motion, that's for sure. I like the aesthetic. China, 76 meters. Another one in China. Wow, these last 3 were all from China. That's crazy. The Motherland Calls, 85 meters. Russia does love their statues. Oh, there's a great statue in Africa that was built by a North Korean company. It's going to be on this list because it's a massive statue. Communist countries love statues. That's where you're going to find out. They just love building giant statues. That was part of their thing. The Great Buddha, 92. Oh, that's in, I don't know where that is. Oh, that's in Thailand, but I don't know that city. I did not see that in Bangkok because that's not in Bangkok. Statue of Liberty was the one I wanted Americans to wait for because, I mean, a lot of Americans have seen the Statue of Liberty. It's pretty good size. It's sizable. It's no skyscraper, but it gets a lot bigger than just the Statue of Liberty. Thank you for that, France, by the way. You know what's funny? France isn't even going to make the list. France gave us this statue. That's kind of hilarious. France, you don't have a statue? I don't think France is going to make the list. We've got Japan with Buddha. We've got the Motherland Monument in Kyiv, Ukraine. Another one from China, over 108 meters tall. Myanmar, so many Buddhas. The Spring Temple Buddha in China. China. And finally, this is it. This is exactly what you've been waiting for. This is exactly why I think this video's got 56 million views, because look at how much the Statue of Unity mogs the rest of these statues. 182 meters, that's hard for us to even fathom a statue being that huge. Yeah, but there it is, 56 million views, crazy. It looks glorious. It was built in 2018, and it's supposed to be the first Prime Minister of India here. Love that it's called the Statue of Unity, especially because considering their history, India was very divided, obviously. that continent wouldn't unite until the British forced them to unite. So it's a good message overall. Make it a huge statue, call it Statue of Unity, stay together, India. It's crazy how humans can build statues as big as these. Crazy, but incredibly interesting. Crazy how some statues are less known despite their size. Yeah, it depends on what world you're really coming from, or basically what country you're coming from. Being from a country that doesn't really have large statues, it's hard to imagine how these would look IRL from the bottom. I went to China once and saw my first true skyscraper, and it was so different from pictures and videos. I can only think it would be the same with these statues, but they are humans. It's kind of entirely different kind of vibe. Different? I'm not sure what she meant to say there. But yeah, I mean, just imagine sitting at the foot of a skyscraper, but now you're looking up at a human being. That must be what it feels like to be in like the anime Attack on Titan. Speaking of skyscrapers though, here are the largest skyscrapers in order. Now, we all know who's number one. I love this video because it really shows like who's decided to mog New York and the U.S. Because a lot of Asian countries have decided to completely mog. I think it's all Asia. I think it's good. Let's see if we get the top 5. Malaysia's got a big one. Let's maybe want to look up if anyone's attempting to build a bigger statue than India's. I don't think so. Of course, there's proposals, and at least when it comes to skyscrapers, it's inevitable that eventually something is going to get caught with time, but we'll see how long the Statue of Unity holds this title. Regardless, yeah, skyscrapers do get caught, and these skyscrapers are certainly going to get caught. The Statue of Unity might have a longer time at staying the top because statues have a little bit less, I guess, usefulness. I mean, skyscrapers are incredibly useful for a lot of different reasons. So I think that's why, obviously countries are always trying to be the biggest, be the tallest. I will say it's kind of just like it's a PP measuring contest, obviously, especially with the way they started building the towers at the very end, started building like the spikes just to make your tower a little, there's no functionality behind it. It's just a stick on top of the building so they can say it's taller. All right, so the first city, we got Israel, actually, 24 meters. Is this by time? Is that how we're ranking this? Or is this every country? It's tallest country. Oh, this is the tallest just building in general in every country. We're going to get through every country in 3 minutes? I don't think so. This is the oldest existing Islamic structure built between 685 and 691, and it's in Jerusalem, Israel. The Dome. Then the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal, a lot bigger than I actually considered. I knew the Taj Mahal was big, but 73 meters, that is a lot bigger than those statues, that's for sure. Considered one of the most beautiful marble buildings ever created. Next up, we have Amman in Jordan, 180 meters. Man, we are not slowing down at all. What I find fascinating about this video, though, some countries are just not big skyscraper builders. And that's basically all of Europe. Europe just doesn't really like skyscrapers. You would think they would, weirdly, because of the way their cities are built. Maybe because they're more historical. Maybe because they have more history to maintain and things like that. But so much of Europe is like basically packed in. Their population is packed into the capital. Most of the time, the capital city is the biggest city, is the most powerful city. The capital city sometimes is the country in a lot of cases. Sweden, 190 meters. Lebanon, 195 meters. There's a usefulness, obviously, behind building tall rather than wide. The U.S., it's funny, the U.S. has skyscrapers, and there was a lot more usefulness 125 years ago for us to build up rather than out, but 125 years ago was before the car revolution. Nowadays, we got the cars, and it kind of ruined our cities, in my personal, humble opinion. I'd rather build up, in my opinion, but, to each their own. I like skyscrapers, personally. Kenya, 200-meter skyscraper. Sofia, 202-meter in Bulgaria. 200, I don't even think I've seen that. That looks literally like stairs. I love architecture. This, like, watching these skyscrapers makes me want to, I wish I was an architect. It's too late for me to become an architect, but, man, I know you have to be, like, a really famous architect to get a job like this, but it's pretty cool the way they make these and design these skyscrapers. CBE headquarters in Ethiopia, 210 meters. The Netherlands. Again, we're only at 200 meters. Just wait. There's a word for like extreme skyscrapers. What are they called again? Hyper skyscrapers? Advanced skyscrapers? I don't really know, but there's another tier. I think it's above 300 meters possibly. Bogota, Colombia. I believe Malaysia is in the top 5. China has a ton. China might have like the top 10. I don't even know. DC Tower, Vienna, Austria. Parque Central in Venezuela, 225. Again, look at like, we're starting the list off with Europe, but wait till we get to the end of the list. I mean, these are, you just would think that Europe would build up higher. I don't know. But then again, the U.S. kind of gave up on skyscrapers as well, since we can just build outward. If you're a smaller city, there's obviously a smaller nation. There's obviously a ton of incentive to build up rather than out because you just don't have that much real estate. Also, if your nation is just in a really terrible climate, like a lot of the Arab states, if you have a bunch of money, there's only desert. If you advance out, it's better to just build, for instance, a Lion City. We'll see if they even build the Lion City in Saudi Arabia, but the UniCredit Tower in Milan, Italy. Really, Milan has the tallest statue for Italy. That's interesting. Nothing in Rome. The Leonardo in South Africa, 234. Argentina has 235. Altair Strait Tower in Sri Lanka. Islands tend to like to build skyscrapers. Oh, here's another one in Israel. So you can remake the list? Or why did Israel get 2? Spain, the Crystal Tower in Madrid. Atlanta, Georgia. What? That can't be right. There is not a city in Georgia called Atlanta. Or is that a U.S. state? Is that supposed to be a U.S. state? Oh, okay. I didn't know if okay, that was a flag mistake. So this is a U.S. one. One Atlantic Center. I was going to say the country of Georgia. Really? They're building stuff like this over there? Frankfurt, Germany. They got all the skyscrapers, I believe, in Germany, in Frankfurt, on the western side there. Four Seasons Hotel in Bahrain. Man, that thing looks really epic. Then we have one, Karachi, Pakistan, 273. We are getting closer and closer to 300 meters. Azerbaijan in the Baku Tower. Of course, Baku, the city. World 1 in Mumbai, India. Man, okay, so that skyscraper is bigger than their Statue of Unity. I almost call it the Statue of Liberty, but it is this skyscraper is like 100 meters taller than that, which makes sense. Again, there's a little bit more practicality behind skyscrapers than statues. Statues is just literally a giant flex. Like, hey, we're not going to use this for anything. It's just going to be a freaking symbol, and that's honestly respect. That's really cool that you could just do it for a symbol. Brazil, 281. Panama at 284. Wow. The Marriott. How do you say that? Goku Tower? Guauku Tower in Singapore, 290. Toronto, the first Canadian place. Here we go. We have entered over 300 meters. The Great Santiago Tower in Chile. We got the Aspire Tower in Qatar. Oh, so the top 10 is not going to be overall all China because we're only giving each country one skyscraper. Okay, so who hasn't made the list so far? Well, China, obviously. Has Russia made the list? The UAE, well, they're going to be number 1. But how big is the tallest skyscraper in Qatar? I feel like Qatar is going to... Oh, Qatar's right in front of me. My bad. Doha. The Aspire Tower, 300. Osaka, Japan also has... It's interesting. It's not in Tokyo. The tallest skyscraper is not in the capital city for Japan. Istanbul, Turkey, 301 meters. Monterrey, Mexico has 305 meters. That's crazy. I still haven't been to Monterrey, Mexico, but I really want to go. This is the 19th tallest structure in the entire world. Crazy. Here we go. Wow. So, here you go. Poland made the 18th spot. Warsaw Tower, 310 meters. We got the UK, 310 meters. Maybe I should have backed off my my claim in the very beginning. The Europeans don't have a lot of tall skyscrapers. They might have extremely singular tall buildings. They might be making this list as, having one tall building, but when you go at it with structures higher than 200 meters, you would think the Europeans would just have more. They don't really have more. They might have one building that's 300 meters, and then they just call it a day. They're just like, all right, we built one mega skyscraper. Now we're good. Don't build anymore. Kazakhstan, 311 meters, 1 meter ahead of the Shard. Garma in Indonesia, Garma 316. Manila, 318. My goodness, these are getting huge. Bangkok, Thailand. Oh, I saw this. Magnolia's Waterfront Residencies. We have the Q1 Tower in Queensland, Australia. North Korea, Pyongyang. Yes, it's funny how massive the hotel is. I mean, a lot of those people that are staying in this hotel must be either Chinese or Russian. No, to be fair, you can stay it's just Americans that can't go. But yeah, there's plenty of Europeans that are able to go north. I'm just jealous. I want to go to North Korea. If they let me. If they let me. I love how there's a plane. They won't let me. I love how there's a plane flying right next to it. Kuwait at 400 meters. We're in the top 10. I believe this is what qualifies a mega skyscraper. Or is it just above 330, 350? I mean, I respect North Korea for doing a damn pyramid. That's crazy. Anyways, Kuwait City. Then we have Kuwait as a small country, so I get why they have to build so skinny, right, like this. Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam. Bam. Used to be formerly known as Saigon. Here we go. Russia's finally made the list in 8th place in St. Petersburg, 462. Taipei 101. Finally, the UAE. Sorry, I did not mean the UAE. Finally, the USA, 541 meters, the One World Trade Center. It's funny how iconic, though, the Taipei 101 is. This is such an iconic building. I don't know why, I just feel like I've seen this building with this design so much more in media. The Lotte World Trade Center Latte in Seoul, 555 meters. Here's Saudi Arabia. Look at that, it's a massive clock tower. How impressive is that? 601 meters. Shanghai, China, having, of course, the Shanghai Tower. I feel like it's a good idea to just name the tallest tower after whatever city it's in. But then if you want to build another one, then that's where you get screwed. I'm just thinking about the Sears Tower in Chicago, which is now called, I don't even know what it's called, the SoFi Tower? What's it called? I don't actually even know, but when the towers have to change their name, it's so hard to get rid of it. I just know the tallest building in Chicago being the Sears Tower. Finally, the Burj Khalifa. It's over 700 meters. Okay, sorry, it's over 800 meters. But again, remember what I was saying in the very beginning, like with the spikes and things like that? So yeah, Malaysia is in second place. Now, I had heard Malaysia is going for something even bigger. I mean, there's always something in construction. Oh, I think Saudi Arabia might be going for something even bigger. But the Burj Khalifa has had this title for at least 10 years now. Or we're actually going on 21 years, believe it or not. So they've had the title for quite some time. So Saudi Arabia is currently constructing something, and it is under construction. That's right. We've been looking into this like for several years. I feel like every year I look into this. It's just from Saudi Arabia, though. I thought Malaysia was thinking about something, too. I think I'm confused because when I started looking up this Malaysian tower, it was like 2020. They had just completed construction of this last year. So that makes sense. They already completed the structure that I thought they were making. So this is the second tallest building in the world, obviously. It looks absolutely monstrous with everything else behind it. In Sweden, a new tallest building is now being constructed. It will be 245 meters when finished. Very nice. I was surprised you mentioned this building. It's not mentioned often. Good work. Just imagine all those towers in one city. That's like one of those like space cities that you see in the future where like imagine what's that Star Wars city or Star Wars planet was just a giant city, or it's actually a whole planet full of skyscrapers. That's right. One of the reasons why they built the One World Trade Center only 417 meters was to specifically hit the 776 feet. The year of the founding of the USA. I forgot about that. And it's in freedom units too. How about biggest stadiums? Now, I love to talk about stadiums because obviously if it's a European stadium, then it's definitely a football stadium or a soccer stadium here in America. And if it's an American stadium in the US, it's definitely a football stadium or American football. So something to keep in mind. I love this discussion because monumental because here in America, our biggest stadiums are college football stadiums. They are not even for the NFL. They're not even for baseball. They're not even for NBA. They're definitely not for soccer, I'll tell you that. They are for college football because those stadiums fill up. They fill over 100,000 people. Now, I believe the biggest stadium in the world is going to be, like, I think from North Korea or something like that. There might have been something newer. This video is probably a little bit out to date. More than likely, a newer stadium has been built. 80,000 people. But when we get to the American part of things, you're going to see multiple stadiums over 100,000 occupancy. I think it's like 2 or 3, to be honest. The Big House being the big one in Michigan. Madrid, Spain. What's the big Spanish one that they just recently built? Stade de France. Hold on. Is this in the best quality? Oh, the video is in 720. Okay. Dortmund, Germany, which this is funny that we're covering all these soccer stadiums in Europe because, the soccer is going to be coming to us very soon here in North America. The World Cup is next year. I'm actually very, very excited for that. I got a couple of country ball ideas planned for the World Cup. So that's going to be pretty cool. Malaysia at 70, 82,000. MetLife Stadium. Yeah, MetLife in the U.S. That's a pretty big one. I believe the MetLife Stadium is going to host a couple of the games when the World Cup comes to North America. Sydney, Australia. We're still hitting only 80,000. But it's crazy to think these occupancies. I mean, this is literally the size of pretty big towns and cities all around the world. You could fit an entire town in some of these places. Salt Lake, they're calling it Salt Lake. India, you got a Salt Lake City too? You would think India would have the biggest stadiums in the world just because they got the most people. And they're also pretty densely packed in. Here's another one in Malaysia. Malaysia loves to build stuff, don't they? They absolutely love to build really big, big stuff. Estado Azteca in Mexico. Is that in Monterrey or Mexico City? I'm thinking Mexico City, but I'm not sure. The only city in Mexico I think that's hosting... Is it just Monterrey? No, Canada I think only has one city hosting the World Cup next year. I think it's just Toronto, if I remember correctly. There might be 2 or 3 cities in Mexico that are hosting games of the World Cup, and then everything else is just all U.S. Dallas Cowboy Stadium should be coming up. I think it has 100,000. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. This is a college football stadium. This is the Rose Bowl, which is a pretty big one, built for the 1984 Olympics. And now the Olympics are going to be coming back to the Rose Bowl in 3 years from now. South Africa, 94,000 people. Barcelona, Spain. Maybe this is the one I was thinking of that recently got built. And here we go, a cricket ground. Yeah, so for Australia, they're probably playing some in stadiums you can play different sports, but, the big old stadiums are, I knew North Korea was going to be on the list. Yeah, they did a massive wrestling event in this stadium, believe it or not. Apparently, it was the biggest wrestling event. Like, I'm talking, like wrestling, WWE wrestling. And apparently, it was the biggest wrestling event of all time. Because a bunch of North Koreans were forced to go to that stadium, more than likely. And they were probably extremely confused. If that is true, if it actually can hold 150,000, then yeah, there's no doubt that is the world's #1 stadium. Legend says the count for Camp Nou capacity is still going on. The people of Dublin are going to get a surprise of their lives when they're told Croke Park has been moved to Malaysia. Oh no, there's been some mistakes. Who frowned when we didn't see Barca size? So maybe some of these needed to be a little bit updated. There's an India one off the list. Yes, but I knew that number was it was debatable in North Korea. This is 113,000. This one says 150,000 sounds a little bit insane. I would not be surprised if India actually has the biggest stadium, especially for cricket. But this is what I was talking about. These are all college football stadiums. Michigan Stadium in Michigan. It's called the Big House. Beaver Stadium in Pennsylvania. We've got Ohio Stadium for Ohio State, Columbus, Ohio, Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, Tiger State in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Knoxville, Tennessee. It's just college football everywhere. It's insane. Those videos are brought to us all by Real Data. Thank you. And here's a big thank you to this month's patrons. Can white people smell the rain? It's pronounced Tour de Sillas, Drew. DruuuWu Labubu. Conquered Bread. White Grape of the Pirates. Never change, Drew. Unless you want to. LuxembourgLover. Fredrik Tibblin. Pavlik. KingBearHaze. NordTyrol. LoreTrack. Name here. Nolan. Check the Patreon link down below in the description.